El Niño is an extraordinary natural phenomenon that has fascinated scientists and captured the attention of people worldwide for centuries. As we move into 2024, we are potentially facing one of the strongest El Niño events ever recorded, and the consequences could be catastrophic. The effects of El Niño are far-reaching, influencing not only the weather, but also agriculture, ecosystems, and the lives of billions of people across the globe. It's a climatic force of nature that reminds us how interconnected our world truly is, and how vulnerable we are to the shifts that occur in Earth's climate systems. The phenomenon of El Niño is not new. It was first documented by Peruvian fishermen back in the 17th century when they noticed that the usually cool waters of the Pacific had warmed unexpectedly, causing a dramatic decrease in fish populations, which was devastating for local economies and food sources. This strange occurrence, which often aligned with the Christmas season, was named El Niño, meaning the boy in Spanish, in reference to the Christ child, as it typically emerged around Christmas. What started as a localized mystery soon turned out to be a key player in one of the most significant weather phenomena in the world. Over centuries, we've come to understand that El Niño is part of a larger, complex climate system known as the El Niño Southern Oscillation, ENSO, a cycle that also includes its counterpart, La Nina. El Niño occurs when the trade winds in the Pacific Ocean weaken, causing warm surface waters to shift eastward. This unusual warming of the ocean's surface leads to a cascade of weather effects, altering weather patterns around the world. The surface temperature of the sea can rise by more than 2 degrees Celsius above average, triggering extreme weather conditions, such as heavy rainfall and floods in South America, severe droughts in Australia and Southeast Asia, and even changes to global temperature averages. The 1997 to 1998 El Niño is a prime example of this, as it was one of the strongest on record and resulted in widespread destruction. Scientists believe that we are now entering a period where El Niño may intensify due to the ongoing effects of climate change. El Niño's counterpart, La Nina, occurs when the trade winds strengthen, pushing the warm water further west and causing the ocean's deeper, colder waters to rise. La Nina brings its own set of weather patterns, often causing drier conditions in South America, increased rainfall in Southeast Asia and Australia, and colder winters in parts of North America. Though both of these phenomena exist as part of a natural cycle, they are being amplified by the human impact on the environment. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and other activities that contribute to global warming are likely exacerbating the severity of these events, making them more unpredictable and potentially more destructive. Now, as we head into 2024, scientists are closely monitoring the situation. They warn that this upcoming El Niño event could be one of the most intense we've ever seen. The forecast for 2024 is already shaping up to be a year of unpredictable weather extremes, including powerful storms, prolonged droughts, floods, and widespread heat waves. These extreme weather patterns will inevitably affect global agriculture, disrupt food supplies, and could cause severe damage to ecosystems. Regions that typically rely on regular rainfall may face devastating droughts, while arid areas could be subjected to heavy rains and flooding. The potential impacts of El Niño are so significant that we may see crop failures, food shortages, and a major strain on water supplies, leading to a humanitarian crisis in some of the world's most vulnerable regions. The world has witnessed such effects before. The 1982 to 1983 El Niño event was another significant example of how devastating this climate phenomenon can be. South America, particularly Peru and Ecuador, faced catastrophic flooding, leading to agricultural losses, while Australia and Southeast Asia battled severe droughts, which caused widespread crop failures. The droughts in these regions had not only social and economic consequences but also contributed to food insecurity, poverty, and even famine. In contrast, North America experienced milder winters, but this resulted in increased pest populations, which then contributed to significant agricultural damage in California, where heavy rainfall led to floods and landslides. Extreme weather events also increased the intensity of cyclones in the Pacific, creating even more damage. El Niño's unpredictable nature makes it incredibly difficult to prepare for. Climate models predict that the year 2024 will be marked by severe rainfall in some areas and extreme droughts in others. What's more, the interaction between El Niño and human-driven climate change means we are now likely facing more severe, more frequent, and more widespread effects. The true scope of these changes will depend on a variety of factors, but one thing is certain: no region is immune from the impact of this powerful natural event. The consequences of El Niño and La Niña events extend far beyond just weather. Agriculture, which is often at the mercy of changing weather patterns, faces particularly steep challenges. Farmers in areas prone to drought may find it difficult to grow crops, while those in flood-prone regions may face the destruction of their harvests. This instability in crop production can lead to food shortages, making food more expensive and harder to come by. Additionally, fisheries, especially in regions like South America, can be devastated by changes in ocean temperature and currents. The warming of the Pacific often leads to a decline in fish populations, such as anchovies, which are a staple in many South American diets. This shift can cause shortages and drive up the cost of seafood globally. For many, the economic implications of El Niño and La Niña are impossible to ignore. When agricultural yields drop or fisheries are disrupted, the price of food increases. This can have a ripple effect throughout the global economy, contributing to inflation and financial instability. Governments and businesses may struggle to respond to these changes, and there is the added pressure of addressing the humanitarian issues that arise from extreme weather events. Countries that are already dealing with poverty and inequality are particularly vulnerable to the effects of El Niño, which can exacerbate social and political tensions, increase the likelihood of disease outbreaks, and create large-scale displacement. Perhaps one of the most alarming aspects of El Niño events is how they can amplify the spread of diseases. In flood-prone areas, waterborne diseases such as cholera, malaria, and dengue fever can spread rapidly. The floods can contaminate water sources, leading to the spread of these diseases, while the droughts that occurred during El Niño events often lead to shortages of clean water. This can result in a public health crisis, particularly in areas with already weak healthcare infrastructure. In some cases, the international community may need to step in with aid and support for these regions to prevent further suffering and loss of life. Despite the overwhelming challenges posed by El Niño, it is important to remember that this is a natural event. It is part of the Earth's complex climate system, which has been fluctuating for millennia. These events have occurred long before human civilization took shape, and the Earth has, in many ways, adapted to these changes. However, the rapid pace of human-induced climate change is making these natural fluctuations more difficult for humanity to cope with. We are living in a time when our vulnerability to these changes is heightened by our technological advancements and the complex infrastructure that we have built. Our civilization has never been more dependent on stable climate conditions, and yet, those very conditions are becoming more unpredictable. The question remains, how can we protect ourselves? While there is no way to prevent an El Niño event from occurring, there are steps we can take to mitigate its effects. For instance, if you live in an area prone to drought, it's important to conserve water and prepare for heat waves. Simple measures, such as collecting rainwater, reducing water usage in your home, and fixing leaks, can make a significant difference when water is in short supply. For those living in flood-prone areas, it's crucial to stay updated on weather forecasts and evacuation plans. Keep an eye on rainfall patterns, and be prepared to evacuate your home if necessary. Governments and organizations worldwide must also focus on early detection and preparation. The more we can predict and understand these events, the better we can adapt and minimize their impacts. Advances in satellite technology and climate modeling are helping scientists better understand and forecast El Niño events, but there is still much to learn. Ultimately, global cooperation will be key to managing the potential devastation that these events can cause. And as individuals, we must continue to raise awareness about climate change and its far-reaching effects, so we can push for sustainable solutions that protect our planet and its inhabitants for generations to come. In conclusion, 2024 could be a pivotal year in the ongoing battle against climate change and extreme weather events. The strength of the El Niño event, combined with the ongoing effects of global warming, may create conditions that lead to widespread disruption. While we cannot control the forces of nature, we can take steps to prepare, adapt, and mitigate the damage. By understanding the science behind El Niño and La Niña, and recognizing the urgent need for action, we can better protect ourselves, our communities, and our planet. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and, above all, be prepared for the unpredictable changes that lie ahead.